As holiday shoppers make their way from store to store, thieves are plotting for their next big score. According to the Knox County Sheriff's Office, this time of year, shoplifting picks up and the retail crime unit works to catch criminals in the act.
A rare opportunity tonight. Officers did just that, catching 2 women in Turkey Creek loaded with stolen goods.
10 News anchor Brandon Bates was in the police car as the car chase happened and brings us all the details tonight. Brandon.
Well, Robin and John, it was an adrenaline-pumping situation. As we waited for something to happen in Turkey Creek, undercover officers spotted 2 women running out of Victoria's Secret, carrying those stolen goods, and then jumping into their car. That's when the pursuit started. Take a look.
It started as a slow night for the organized retail crime unit in Turkey Creek, until a call came in that 2 women were caught shoplifting and running from police. The women jumped in their car, slammed into a police vehicle, and then got out and ran. As backup arrived, officers jumped out of their cruisers and ran after the suspects, eventually both of them being placed into custody. As the 2 were placed under arrest, they walked past the car they were in.
That's all stolen.
Inside, hundreds of dollars worth of stolen goods.
People, I think, at this time of year may be getting some of these items for gifts or presents or to trade them for other things.
Brad Hall is the acting chief of detectives at the Knox County Sheriff's Office. He says shoplifting isn't as simple as people just walking in, taking an item, and then leaving.
There's a lot of different angles that go into the shoplifting.
From November 21st to December 16th of this year, over 250 people have been arrested, and over $120,000 worth of stolen property has been recovered.
We have had a lot of people who come from out of town to commit these crimes. Of course, these people don't want to be recognized in their own neighborhood or their own town.
And while the retail crime unit plans and executes arrests on a daily basis, this is something that they're used to.
It may slow down just a little bit, but for the most part, it's a continuing problem.
And at this point in the season, the organized retail crime unit doesn't have as many arrests as they did last year, but they've already surpassed last year's recovered merchandise total by $30,000. They've also found meth, heroin, and marijuana on several people as well. Robin and John.
You had an interesting night on the job.
Sure.
Brandon, thank you.
18 people